Before I begin, I want to send my support and the support of my party to young Cara Dermody, who has begun her 50-hour sit-out protest to demand timely assessments of needs are delivered. And I think it's shameful that a young woman has to do this over and over and over again, but we're deeply inspired by her. Ara ta fishan a bhí cotha in air jigan rin tihiach there in the men's social to taréis farag milchina a cruhu. Jenan an fishan yerach dal na molag a hor argini modger le frigracht and Oireachtas as policy tihiach de a te taréis na ridjan dini a oge a vru fillu rash a goni sa wale lina dushmahari. Demeaning, hurtful, insulting, a two-fingered salute to an entire generation. Minister, these are the words that people are using to describe the decision by your government to share a video advising people how to cope with moving back into the family home. People in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, forced to move back in with their parents. I know Spun Out helped with this video, a very good organisation that does great work, and it's no reflection on them or the young people in the video, but it shouldn't be left to a youth organisation to clean up Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael's mess. But the decision by this government to share this video has caused fierce anger. The video suggests that those forced to move back in with their parents should help around the house so that they will be viewed as adults. Now, God Almighty, Minister, how patronising is that? Did anybody in government look at this video before it was shared in the official platforms by the Department of Housing? Did anybody think about how people would react? 2 weeks ago, I stood here in Leader's Question and I raised the case of a young couple forced to move back into their parents' house. They were forced to do that because they couldn't afford the rent any longer. A couple that's now planning to head to Australia. Last night, I was thinking about them, and I was thinking about the hurt that they would feel after seeing this video. But they're not alone, Minister. The hard reality is that 2/3 of 18 to 34-year-olds are still living with their parents. The number of young people forced to live with their family is increasing at a faster rate than any country in Europe. And why? Because under your government, home ownership has collapsed for an entire generation. And we see it all again today, in black and white in the report from the Society of Chartered Surveyors. 80% can't afford to rent an average apartment built this year. Is it any wonder, Minister, that so many people don't see a future here? Your policies are forcing them to choose between moving back into the box room or leaving Ireland for the opportunity of a better life in Australia or in Canada. And these are the choices that they have to make when they should be here, building a future, starting relationships, starting families. Their lives instead are being put on hold. And if this government gave a damn about our young people, what you would be doing is bringing action forward to bring home ownership back into the reach and to get runaway rents under control. But what are you doing? Instead, you're doing the opposite. You choose to make things even worse. You're going to push ahead with legislation that will see young people hit with big rent increases come next March. But I want to say to young people out there, people who are watching today, that we're going to keep fighting for you here. Sinn Féin will keep fighting for you. We will have your back to make things better, to ensure that you can build a good future and affordable life here in Ireland. Minister, so I ask you this question. I ask you the question that many young people have asked me in the last number of hours. Do you see why young people are offended and hurt by your government sharing this video? And do you accept that it is wrong for this government to make young people feel that they are somehow at fault for your housing crisis?
Thank you, Deputy Minister, please.
Thanks very much, Orla. What I'd say in the first instance, this video and the information campaign is not a direct Department of Housing campaign, and it is something that you've said yourself has been developed by Spun Out, Ireland's youth information and support platform, and the housing agency who've ran this campaign. And it was developed by young people and is based on their experiences. What I would say is, like all of us in this House, I recognise the need to do everything we can to improve the availability and delivery of social and affordable homes. right across our country. It's been the single biggest issue in our development of the national and review of the National Development Plan. It's been our focus in terms of infrastructure, so with the enabling infrastructure in energy, in water and transport to ramp up the delivery of social and affordable homes. And if you look at the delivery that Minister Brown has advanced, we've completions for the first 3 quarters of 2025 are the highest since 2008. Housing supply has increased significantly over the last 5 years, with over 158,000 new homes delivered since the beginning of 2020. Rent pressure zones have been extended nationwide, capping increases at 2%. Cost rental tenancies have been introduced, offering secure rents at least 25% below the market rent. We've extended the rent tax credit to 2028. We've increased the provision of social housing of nearly 16,000 new homes delivered in 23-24, the highest since the 1970s. So as a government, we're stepping up when it comes to state intervention on the provision of housing across the economy. I accept that for many young people, rents are still too expensive in our cities and in towns in our country, and that's why the intervention from the state is centrally important. And similarly, when it comes to housing supply, we've stood up to the needs in terms of the provision of social housing in our economy, extended the First Home Scheme and the Help to Buy scheme to help the affordability when it comes to the provision of homes across our country. And we want to do everything that's possible in terms of the state's role in supporting that increased supply of homes right across our country. That's why in the budget, from tax measures, we took measures in terms of improving the viability of apartments and other interventions when it came to the reduction of VAT on apartments from 13.5% to 9%, again strengthening the viability of housing supply across the country. So that everyone on this side is absolutely fully aware of the need to do more when it comes to the delivery of social and affordable homes. That's reflected fully in our National Development Plan. It's reflected in our extension of many of the schemes, the subsidies and supports which will improve the supply of social and affordable homes. And we want to do more across our country with the local authorities to zone more land to ensure that housing supply increases. And that's the number one issue for government. Minister Brown has taken a number of interventions over the last number of months in terms of the rental market, in terms of the taxation decisions and in the new housing plan, all to deliver increased housing supply so that people can own and buy our own home here. And in terms of your policies, you reject the Help to Buy scheme, which has helped thousands of young couples. You have some made-up policy on affordable homes, which the people don't actually own the land underneath the homes that they want to own. So your own policies on housing would, I think, undermine housing supply. And again, the viability gap is something you continuously ignore. You rejected the reduction in VAT on apartments, which is critical to improve the supply of apartments, particularly in our cities. And this government will continue to do everything in terms of our policy response to ensure that we build more social and affordable homes and we increase and make viable the overall provision of homes over the next number of months and years.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Doherty.
Minister, you're not listening and you're not hearing. You don't understand, do you, what it feels like if you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s and you're that person that is forced to move back in to your parents' house, that you're that person that is now in the box room, and the Department of Housing shares a video which talks about maybe you should do the dishes when you're at home so that you'll be seen as an adult. Can you understand how hurtful that is? How hurtful, the lack of hope that is out there? Minister, when I was in my 20s, I was married. I built my house. I had my first 2 children. There's an entire generation out there whose lives are on hold, or worse still, an entire generation out there that are no longer here because they have lost hope. They have lost hope under Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael because they see that house prices are runaway prices. They see what you are doing, what rents and you are going to push them up further. They see that home ownership has collapsed and they have given up. So can I ask you, Minister, do you accept that the Department of Housing releasing that video, sharing that video, was hurtful to so many people who, under your policies, have been forced to move back in to their parents' box room?
Minister to respond.
So you're misrepresenting how that video was made and created. It was made by Spun Out, a youth organisation. It was not the particular video was not something that was made by the Department of Housing. It was made by Spun Out, a youth organisation in the state. So just to be clear on that, I'm absolutely clear that I want to ensure young people build a future here, have a future here with well-paid jobs and with more social and affordable homes built right across our country, and managing the economy in a way that they have a future here into the long term, something you just take for granted every time you get up and down when it comes to finance issues. So my message is absolutely clear. We want them to build a future here, and our commitment is there in the National Development Plan, between Exchequer and non-Exchequer funds, nearly 50 billion across all the enabling infrastructure and subsidy for housing support, the central priority that we made in the new National Development Plan, so people can build a future in this country.
Thank you,
and that's why we want to ramp up housing supply with the other interventions that we've made.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Ivana back.